Today I'm reviewing Just Got Back from the Discomfort, We're Alright by Brave Little Abacus. I'm just going to refer to the album as Discomfort because that's going to make my life a whole lot easier. Discomfort is considered a Midwest emo album, an emo album, and if we are calling it that, it's definitely more towards the cap and jazz sort of sound of Midwest emo and not the American football sound of Midwest emo. What I mean by that is, kind of whiny male vocals, almost post-hardcore-ish, stuff like that. Discomfort stands as one of the few albums that I primarily think about when I hear about the website RYM, because it is very popular on there. When I hear Radiohead, when I hear Fishman's, I also think of Discomfort when I'm thinking about RYM-esque albums. Pretty evident if you go on that website too, because everybody's profile half the time is the picture of this album cover and then they put in some random fucking character in it. Okay, that's enough for that introduction though. Let's get straight into the album. Is it good? Is the praise on RYM really, are they speaking facts or are they just fucking lying? Well, I'm happy to say that they're mostly correct. I will say though, your enjoyment of this album is going to rely heavily on how much you can tolerate the vocals or even how much you like the vocals. Personally speaking, as an enjoyer of cap and jazz, I personally really like Adam's vocals. I have heard him described as sounding like the nerd emoji, and while I get that, I think it just comes off as incredibly sincere, horribly emotional, like so emotional, and just endlessly captivating. I love hearing his voice. I love how he uses his vocals on every single track on here. Discomfort is an incredibly emotional, powerful, and just raw album from start to finish. Only 12 songs, it's like 45-ish minutes. Every song hits most of the time. I'll get into that in a minute. I absolutely love the intro, how it immediately starts the album off incredibly strong and shows so many of the emotions and starting point of the story we're going through, while also just being incredibly engaging. But the first 9 songs are perfect. That's a perfect run, especially the first 6. Each of these songs come in really hard and then end on like a minute or so of meditation. Not every single one, but that is a structure we see a lot. And speaking of structure, these songs don't really have a structure. There's not really ever like a chorus verse or any of that shit. It's just verse, and that's mainly because of the main singer. I believe his name is Adam. He's just incredibly emotional and just sounds like he's spilling out on all these tracks. Now that being said, a lot of his lyrics are incredibly confusing and kind of hard to understand and open to interpretation, but in general I think that the album is about kind of moving on from a relationship. The reoccurring theme is there's 2 of Adam but only 1 of him at the same time. So in my opinion, it's the one during the relationship, the one after the relationship, and the album is kind of how he's handling life after this relationship and moving on to just be himself. The moment on the album when we see this like full transition, in my opinion, the climax of the album is on the second to last track. Bug-Infested, Floorboards, Can We Please Just Leave This Place Now is, in my opinion, the climax of the album, with the first half being kind of just a whatever he's describing, this house he helped his friend move out of. At the same time, the second half of the song is very much him moving on past this relationship and moving on to the different version of himself that he mentioned before. And the final track is just Adam kind of ending the album saying this is the new him. Now, as I mentioned before, I think almost every single song on here is incredibly emotional, powerful, engaging, and a lot of the times heartbreaking, because Adam, while most of the time his lyrics are very kind of nuanced and not exactly very clear what he's trying to say, there are occasionally times when he says some very straightforward shit about how he's feeling, and when he does, it is fucking potent.
When I say I'm sad, I mean it. There is no excuse. I need it.
My only issue with the album is the 10th track. It's a 1.5 minute long instrumental piece. I really just find it to kind of kill the momentum the album had up to this point. While there are slower parts throughout the album and some of these songs end off, it just kind of feels out of place, especially near the end of the album, where it feels like we're building to the final climactic track being the 11th one. While it's not a bad track because it doesn't overstay its welcome, it's only 1:30, I really feel like it would have been better not on the album. And if it's not what you think it is, just went right into the Floorboard track and then into Orange Stripes, the outro. I just feel that the instrumental piece messes up the momentum we were building towards that climactic 11th track, and it doesn't ruin the album for me because of how short it is, but it feels a bit unnecessary. But besides that, I love everything about this album. The incredibly emotional lyric, the incredibly powerful instrumentals that just match the lyrics and vocals to just make it a cathartic experience from start to finish. Every single track on here, I was just like, I'm about to go. I really mean this when I think this album is nearly perfect. I think almost everything on here is incredible. Again, though, the lyrics and the vocals, you're gonna have to see if you enjoy the vocals personally, because it's a kind of make or break for a lot of people. But I love everything about this album except the instrumental track, as I mentioned previously. So I'm going to give Just Got Back from the Discomfort, We're Alright by the Brave Little Abacus a 9 out of 10. That's my thoughts on the album. What do you think about the album? Do you like it? Do you not like it? Tell me in the comments below, or say something else, or recommend me an album. Do whatever you want. Feel free to join the Discord server in the description below. Thank you for watching and have a good day.